Midweek Monitor. I'm RiShawn Biddle. Here are the top 3 things that you need to pay attention to in the world of school reform and education this week. One of the top 3 issues that is happening and is going on is happening in Connecticut, where Governor Dan Malloy is pushing for the reform of tenure and teacher quality in the Nutmeg State. What he's proposing is essentially this. Teachers who are of high quality can earn tenure in as little as 3 years, as long as they get the top rating on the teacher evaluation. That's a decrease in a year from the 4 years currently required. But at the same time, high-quality teachers have to continually earn tenure again and again. In essence, no more near lifetime employment. Essentially, if a teacher earns the top 2 ratings in 3 years over a 5-year period, well, they get tenure and they keep their job, they keep their license and keep tenure. On the other hand, if they don't, well, they have some issues. That's an important reform, and while the bill is not perfect, at least it's a step in the right direction. Of course, the NEA's Connecticut affiliate is strongly opposed to it. The AFT affiliate, which has been singed in the past few months over revelations of its efforts to derail the state's parent-trigger law, well, they're a little more muted in their response, and you would expect that. Meanwhile, you have rallies being held by groups such as Students for Education Reform, and in a few weeks, March 14th, the Connecticut Parents Union and Students First, the group led by Michelle Rhee, they're holding their own rally. And this is, of course, intimidating and not pleasing to the ears of defenders of traditional public education privileges. As you can imagine, one former state legislator, John Pelto, has attacked the Connecticut Parents Union, and now the State Ethics Commission is trying to weigh in, basically sending out a warning last week that the Connecticut Parents Union had to file as a lobbyist, even though as a volunteer organization and as unpaid advocates, they really don't have to, according to state law. As you know, Dropout Nation, actually your editor is an advisor to the Connecticut Parents Union. Meanwhile, in Alabama, there's also an effort to reform education there in fact, to allow for the creation and authorization of charter schools. Alabama is one of the few states in the nation that doesn't actually allow for charters to exist. Last night, Black Alliance for Educational Options President Ken Campbell debated the NEA's Alabama affiliate president there in a debate sponsored by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Of course, as you know, the NAACP. As you can imagine, that didn't turn out, of course, to the favor of the school reformers because, you know, it is the NAACP. Let's be real. And meanwhile, you also have additional questions about how will Alabama allow for the authorization of charter schools. Finally, there's still a lot of discussion about the Common Core state standards, especially after Tom Loveless's report for the Brookings Institution, basically saying that Common Core won't work because at the end of the day, it won't actually shape teaching and learning at the classroom level. Of course, as you can imagine, folks such as J.P. Green and other foes of Common Core, and who feel that it's essentially nationalizing standards, they are pleased with this report and they're flogging it for all it's worth. Meanwhile, you have folks such as Richard Lee Colvin of the education sector and Andy Rotherham of Edgewonk, who are actually questioning the underlying assumptions behind Loveless's theories. Well, it'll be interesting and fascinating to consider all this debating. Dropout Nation, of course, will weigh in on this matter and weigh in on the issue in this today and in the coming weeks. Read Dropout Nation every day for your news and commentary on the reform of American public education. Read my columns in the American Spectator and National Review, and of course, listen to the Dropout Nation podcast. In fact, this week's podcast on the high cost of low expectations. This is Dropout Nation. I'm RiShawn Biddle. You have a great day.